So this drawing here is a little bit different. I made a brain juicer. Now, what is that exactly? Well, it's a machine that juices brains and turns them into smoothies. So that's what I've done today. It's a little weird, I know, but that's just the idea I had. And really, it's more of a robot, an artificial intelligence that has taken over and self-replicated itself into building a grinder machine that takes human brains and then puts them inside of here. So maybe there's some arms that can go off from the side. I didn't really draw any arms, it doesn't really look like it, but you can imagine there's arms that are controlled by robots, robotic arms, and then they're grabbing people's heads, taking them off, and then extracting the brain out. And so then they put the brain inside of the blender and then make a smoothie out of it. It's definitely one of those machines that you want to run away from. It's dangerous. It's a little scary if you saw this in real life, running after you, trying to take your brain and make a smoothie out of it. So run away if you see this. But anyways, it's a pretty fun drawing that I did. It took about maybe 3.5, no, actually more like 2 hours. It's just because I've been busy going back and forth here and there all over the place that it felt like a long drawing, but in reality it was maybe only 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to get back into drawing longer videos, making just more, but I've been busy running around everywhere and it hasn't felt like I can draw as much, right? But so this is a blender, and an artificial intelligence has taken over and programmed itself. This is something you might see in The Matrix or a sci-fi movie where the robots have taken over. I really like making these drawings that have double meanings and that you can interpret in various ways. For instance, this one here you could maybe see as the brain being yourself and the machine is the TV, the computer, the programming from your TV, and it's constantly pushing and pulling you in every single direction to think this, buy this, think that. And so that's what this drawing can also be seen as, is a brain being pushed and pulled all over the place, swirled around in a smoothie blender, and it's not always the best thing. So that's why you got to run away from it, okay? It is what it is. But you can see it like that, or you can just see it as a massive brain machine destroyer that runs everywhere and takes people's soul. Yeah. So this was a good drawing. Later on, you can see that I did use a colored pencil for this drawing, which is a little different. Typically, I'm using a marker or a nice brush pen. Those are pretty satisfying, but switch it up, and actually colored pencils are pretty good for these pages here because this is a bit of a rougher sketchbook. The texture of the page is a little gritty, and so when I'm using a pencil, it feels, you can feel the page. When it's a smooth paper, it's not as satisfying, but when it's a rough texture on the page with a colored pencil, it feels pretty nice. So I'll have to do that more in this sketchbook. And I will be using some watercolors, which I got a few days ago, just some cheap ones from Walmart. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter what watercolors you use when you're drawing. I mean, I haven't got any expensive ones, so how would I know? But from my experience, just $2 or $3 watercolors work pretty fine if you can find those. That's about all for today. I just wanted to explain this drawing, which could be interpreted in maybe 3 or 4 ways, really. It's a giant machine that's running and chasing after people to extract their brains. It could also be seen as a brainwashing machine that takes the brain, implants different ideas, and then puts it back into the head. Or some kind of mind-altering substance could be put into the brain as well. Or maybe it's all of those things. Who knows? But Pretty interesting drawing, I'd say. A little more than the past couple days. I've just been making abstract things. Although this is just an abstract drawing as well, but it's not really the same, okay? It's a little different. I want to get more into actually drawing things, not just random parts, right? But that's all for today. Goodbye.